floor slab next. Go to ground floor level, go to architecture tab, go to floors. I've set up a surface bed for you. It's 85mm surface bed. That's a South African standard. You can edit that if you want. You then go pick walls. Now I prefer to have the slab go on to the go through the cavity, so that's what I'm going to do, but you have to add the slab as you would for your construction preferences. So for me it's on the outer side of the cavity, and you say finish and you say no. There we go. And I think it's time for our first section. To do a section, you can either go to Views, Section, and draw a section, or you can go to the top and do the same. You'll now see in your tab, you'll have a section added. So you drop down there, we've got a section called Section 1, and if you double click, there's our very first section. To see more detail in the section, go to your detail level, which is coarse at the moment, and change that to fine. I've set up the different materials to intersect the way that I like to construct a wall and floor joint. And you can see that if you go to modify and if you go to join, you select the riser wall, you select the slab, and it will actually join it the way that I like to join wall and floor joints, the same there. Now, I didn't set it up this way for the 110 walls. There's a reason for, I'm not going to get into it now, that we're going to do manually. So all 110 walls, what you can do at this moment is actually just select the 110 wall and just drag it down to under the 85 slab. Okay, now the floor slab is still going to show through. Do that there. The floor slab and the sand and the compact fill will still show through, but that's something that we're going to remedy using a something that would be familiar to you in AutoCAD. Spend any time detailing the section at the moment. What I want to do is go back to floor plan and start adding some detail to the floor plans themselves. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to change back to wireframe. Actually, I don't really need wireframe. Let's go back to hardline. There we go. Okay, we are now going to add windows to our floor plan. To do that, you go to architecture, you go to windows, and I've set up standard aluminium and timber windows for you, with sill and without sill. What we're going to use for this demo is just aluminium with sill. Yeah, aluminium with sill, and try and add a couple of different windows to rooms, so that when we schedule, we have a couple of different windows to pick up. Have some of them the same, but some different as well. Try and have 4 different windows, 5 different windows, just for the sake of the window schedule that we're going to do later on. Now, I don't really care where you put your windows, just as long as we can schedule them later, so you don't have to actually put them where I did on this floor plan. So I'm going to start with a 1.2 by 1.5 window, and I'm just going to add one over there. Okay. What I'm going to do immediately is tag that. I'm going to add a window tag. I've set up window tags the way that we've always done them in practice. To get to tag, you can either go to annotate and to tag, or you can go TG. I'm just going to switch off leader, and then you can select the window and it will tag it for you. Now it's giving you a name window 2 because I've already used this before, but you can change that. To change this tag, you have to double click it, but a slow click. You click it once, you click it twice. This will open the window parameters. There you can change it. You can call that window 1. It will prompt you, just say yes, and that's fine, and 1. So it's window 1, 1. Let's add the next window. We go to window. Let's keep it the same window, and let's say tag it when you put it in. And let's put one over there. Window 1, 2, and window 1, 3. So it's important when you put your first window down to name that one, because the Revit will keep on adding numbers to that and keeping the tags correct if you do that. I'm now going to go to a smaller window. I'm now going to add another window. Let's call that a 900 by 900. Add that in the bathroom. And I'm going to change the tag immediately, so it's 1, 2 clicks. I'm going to call that W2. It's going to prompt. You're going to say yes, and we're going to call that number 1. Say OK. It will prompt, and OK. In the second bathroom, we're going to add another one of those. Okay, let's just fix that because it didn't number that correctly now. 2. Okay. The reason why it didn't was it was counting from there. So it was going 1, 2, 3, and it called that one 4. Revit wants to keep those numbers unique, but we don't need them to be unique because they will be unique in the context of the window and the number. So you can try check. So you can carry on, add some more windows and tags, and try and have at least 4 or 5 different types of windows. Doors are done exactly the same way as windows. You go to doors in the architecture tab. I've drawn up a couple of doors for you. Let's use the door with sill. Let's put one of those at the kitchen. If you want to flip the door over, just press your space bar. The door is selected. Space bar will flip the door over and around. Do the same, tag the door. Let's just go to the top one. Let's call this D1. Yes. Select that one, D1, 1. Let's change to internal doors, architecture, doors, and door without sill. Let's just add those. Just switch tag on. D2. 1, 2. There we go. So go around, add doors as you need them. There's also a French door that you can add. Where's that French door? You can add that over there. Maybe a second one over there. So go ahead, add more doors. I don't particularly care where. Try and get at least 3 different ones. Tag them and let's move on from there. To add plumbing or basically any kind of component, you go to Components, you go to Properties, and to the drop down menu. There you just search for the type of component that you want to add. Once again, if you zoom in and use your space bar, you can position it in the orientation you need to. And then just place them. I've got a very nice shower component that I've placed in your template, and I just want to show you how that works. Okay, the shower can fit any size. We've got grips on the side. You select it. We've got grips, so you can pull it to any side. It will get bigger. But it's also got glazing. I'm just going to go thin line. And it's got glazing panels on 3 sides. Obviously, on the wall side, there'll never be a glazing panel. How that works is, let's say for instance, we want to insert it into this corner. You select it. You switch off left panel. That panel is now switched off. You go MV for move. Sorry, you select it first. MV for move from that corner to that corner. And then you just use the grips to get it into place. There you go. Another very useful and rather intelligent family that I've loaded into your template is a cupboard family. How this works is, let's just swap it around. Let's place it over there. This template actually adds cupboards. If you drag it every 400, go drag it this way. Okay, that's the filler piece, and you can drag the filler piece to whatever gap you have, make that bigger or smaller. For the rest, you pull the grips, and every 450, which is the size I'm using as a unit, it will add a unit for you. So let's quickly move this into position. Let's grab there. Okay, let's grab this side, move that over, and then use the filler piece to just cover that end. Now if you look in section, there's your cupboards. We drag that in. only every 450 will it add or subtract a kitchen a cupboard module for you. Let me just undo that and pull that back to there. A bit more to there. So that's cupboards. So go ahead, finish off the floor plan, adding sanitary and built-in cupboards. Next we will do a very simple modeling of a kitchen. Next up we're going to model a small kitchen. We're just going to do an in-place model. This is very similar to modeling in AutoCAD. What you do is you go to the Architecture tab, Components, drop down and go to Model in Place. There we choose Casework and we go OK, and we can just call this Kitchen and say OK. On extrusion is the same as extrude in AutoCAD. In AutoCAD you would draw a polyline, which is just a line, and this line we're drawing in the ground floor plane. There we go for extrusion or depth. But let's just change it there. We're going to go 850. We're going to say OK. And then under materials, let's just use default. And finish. Now if we go to section, there's our cupboard base. Now you can add as much detail using the same principle as you like. If you want to go and add doors, handles, whatever, it's exactly the same principle. So for instance, if you are in this section, you can make it shorter, change the extrusion, but we're happy with that. Let's go back and quickly do the counter. So we go back to ground floor, still in the same family. We haven't said finish model. You go to create again, extrusion. We can go to pick. Let's start off with a 0 offset, and from this point on we're going to say there's a 25 offset. So we're going to say 25, and we're going to say zoom in, offset. We're going to go trim, and trim, and trim. We're going to do, say the count is 50, and material, we go with default again. Say finish, go to your section again, select the counter. Now you'll see a little diamond. That diamond means that the counter is locked in a certain plane. You've got to always switch that off if you want to move it up or down. In this case we want to move it up, MV for move, and we want to move that that diamond's not switched off. There we go. MV, we want to move it up by 850. And there's our counter in place. And now we can go say finish model. That will be one model, And if we go back to our ground floor, we've got a little kitchen modeled in place. In between takes, I've quickly just gone to components. I've added a sink and I went to detail lines and I just drew a stove, so you can add that in. We've gotten to the stage where I feel we've used our 2D sketch for as much as we need to use it, and we can actually delete it and start focusing on our work in Revit. So this is our floor plan. The next thing I'd like to do is look at room tags. Okay. When you have a big open space and you actually want to divide that into smaller areas, if you tag a room, like we do there, it will tag the whole area until the whole enclosure. So if it's a big open space, it will do living room, kitchen, everywhere, till it finds a door or a wall that will enclose that space. If you want to change that, you've got to use room separators. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a room separator there, and then I'm going to add another room separator there. That should now contain the living space, the passage, and the kitchen. So now you just go around adding room tags, and then as soon as you've tagged all the rooms, you go back and name them. All you do to name them is you click on one of them, click on it again, and you change it to living room. The top one is just a room number. I'm going to call this ground 1 or G1. Carpet, that one is floor finish. And the one below is the square meterage for that room. Obviously it's the internal meterage. So you can now go ahead and update and change all your room names. Because we are adding more and more detail, I'm actually going to change this to a 1 in 50 just to make things easily visible while we're working. Of course, if you have to do it at a scale of 1 in 100, you can just make the text smaller or put less information in your room tags. But for now, this will just give us a nice space to work in. We are at a point where we're almost ready to finish off our floor plans. Now, any detail you want to add that in 2D. So we will go detail lines, for instance, pen 1, and we will draw a line over there, for instance, just to indicate that there's a floor finish change. There we go. So any extra detail you will now add in 2D lines. Also, all annotations, XL for text, 2.5, for instance, built-in cupboards, can now be added. Go. As soon as you're happy with all the detail and you've added all the notes and everything you want to add, next up would be dimensions. Dimensions, you can either go to annotations and linear or aligned dimensions for straight dimensions. Once again, you don't want to go to wall centers, you want to go to wall faces and individual reference. So let's just start from the outside. I've already set up dimensions for you in the template. You can just use the 2mm dimensions style. You just pick the area you want to dimension and then just place it outside the building where you would like it to go. The next one you just select the next row that you want to dimension. Like so. You'll take that out and there's a snap. You'll see over there it snaps. You just snap it down there and you've got 2 rows of dimensions. Dimensioning works the same in sections and plans, so you can now go finish off your floor plans with text, detail lines and dimensions. Clean up my floor plan. I've switched off the site. I've added some text and notes and I'm pretty happy with the floor plan. The next thing I want to do is add a ceiling. Now, as you can see in the project browser, we have ceiling plans. I'm not going to use that now. We're going to do this in our plan view. Let me quickly show you how to do that, and we will get to ceiling plans further on down the line. So we go to ceilings and choose the type of ceiling you want to use. Let's just call it a generic ceiling. And you can say sketch ceiling. You can select a rectangle, just bring it across and say finish. If you go to your section, you can try and find that. So the generic is very thin. I'm just going to change that to a plain ceiling that has a little bit of depth at least, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to go say move that to that position, and I'm done. With our floor plans completed, let's quickly look at door and window schedules. The doors and the windows schedule the same way. I've already created, under schedules, I've already created 6 doors and 9 windows for you. I'll show you how to add more. The windows schedule according to the door number. When you, let's go to, it's easier to see with windows. Let's go to windows. If you double click, you'll see type mark. Now all the scheduling happens in accordance with type mark, and the schedules are looking for a window 1, window W1, W2 or D1, D2. That's how it schedules. If you change that to X1, it won't schedule. Change it to window 1, window 2 or W1, W2, it will schedule. So that's how I've put the schedules together. You're welcome later down the line to put your own method together. But I just find that using the type mark is the easiest way to schedule. I'm going to close here. Let's go to window 1. Okay. If we go to window 1, we'll see we've got window 1 and we've got 3. Now if you go to glazing and you drop down, all the sans glazing classifications I've listed there. Now you can just change it to, at the moment, you just change it to single tint or whatever type of glass you're using. Later on, as we progress, we are actually going to do our fenestration calculations using Revit schedules. At that point, when you've done your fenestrations, those schedules would actually automatically update your door and window schedules for you, and changing and classifying the glazing type correctly. So at the moment you can select what you need, but in the future somewhere it will actually update automatically. When it comes to your window frame, I've only got one drop down note at the moment, but all you do is you copy paste a note in there, and if you need to reuse it, it will be there as a drop down option. Same with comments. Okay, so I've actually already placed windows on a sheet for you with your custom title block, And as you go through, you'll see you've got window 1, 3, you've got window 2, you've got 2 of those. And obviously you can add more parameters to the schedule depending on your needs. Doors works exactly the same. If you go to doors, we don't have that many doors, but door 1, quantity 1, door 2, quantity 5. There, once again, if you double click here, you can go to door description, different door descriptions. You can add your own by typing into the blank spot, door finish, door frame, frame finish, and comments. Let's say you've got 7, 8, or you need to add more. All you do is you go to, in the schedule, in the project browser, under schedules, you go to a door schedule, you right click, you say duplicate, just duplicate. Okay, you go to filtering, and where it says D6, if it's for a D7, you're just going to change that to 7. Now it will go and look for a door tag or a door tagged D7, and it will schedule it in the schedule. Also remember to just change the name to D7. That goes for door and window schedules. So that is how you schedule them. Next up, we'll look at adding a small drawing of that window or door above the schedule. To add a window drawing above the window schedule, I'm just going to do one. I'm going to do window 1. This is the one place where you unfortunately have to have a piece of paper and pen to write with. What you do is you go to window 1 and you select it. And in the properties, you just see which family it is. So over here it is aluminium with sill, and it's the 1200 by 1500. So you just, and then you say W1. So just to remember, because you need to go look for it. Next thing you do is you go to view and you say legend and legend. Depending on the scale, I'm going to do them 1 in 50. You just name this legend window 1. You say OK. In the project browser on the right hand side, or my right hand side, you go down to families. That's normally just under sheets. There you go to windows. There you go to aluminium windows with sill, and you go to 1200 by 15. You just close that there. That you drag onto your legend. You select it. You go to the top and you say front view. And there you have a view of your window. What you do then is you add detail with 2D lines. So I'm just going to add some construction lines just to dimension from. So I'm just going to do that. Then I'm going to say DI for dimension, or otherwise you can go to annotations, find it there. And now you can go to detail lines again. You can drop down and you can go to hidden lines, small hidden. And I'm just going to indicate the opening sections. And I'm done. You can add as much information as you like. What you do then, you can close up here. close families and go to your window schedule sheet. You go to legend and you go to W1 and you drag that over onto the page. Drop it. I don't like this scale and name symbol, so I'm just going to click on title no line, and I'm then going to move that to the top, and there you go. Traditional window schedule. You've got your schedule, you've got your window, little 1 in 50 window drawing, and you've got your window number. Obviously it's exactly the same for anything else. Doors, you can do details like this. It just depends on how you want to apply this.